That's the perfect way that we start this. Hello everybody and welcome to our Overly Bright Twitch channel. Now you're here with your toes and our somewhat tepid waters. I guess we better introduce ourselves. I am Blood Puppets. Tonight we are doing Monday Get Nuked, which is our System of Spice set in our setting of Nuked, which is post-nuclear apocalypse. So it's going to be good, it's going to be fun. I'm going to let everyone go around and introduce themselves. Unlike normal, I'd also like you to introduce what your characters look like. Because we won't normally have that opportunity. So let's start with the dude directly below me, which is Skag. Who are you, what are you playing, and what do you look like?
It was the how do I look that kind of clipped out, but okay. I'm gonna play John, who is a dashing fellow without being sexy. He is one of a myriad of wanderers, a human who is returning back and taking up some missions here and there, trying to just get by, and hopefully he will survive. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. A good start. Spanners. Let's go around.
So I am Spanners. I'm playing Lady Pip. Who sounds lovely, but it's actually a first generation post-gen, so a genetically modified soldier, but she's mutated, so it's really quite bendy. She is 7 foot, weighs about 200 kilograms, and has a liking for violence, and hopefully won't die.
Hey! It seems to be a common theme, this hopefully surviving, not dying thing. I like it. Let's go to Terracon.
I will be playing Cameron Elcom of the Elcoms. Yeah. He's about 5'9", blonde hair, wants more people to join the dwelling, but his father doesn't. Likes to do stuff on his spare time, sneaks out, has fun. That's about it, really.
Cool. And my partner in crime, Thirsty.
Hey, tonight I should be playing the glorious brother Rupert Rees, PhD, who is a 137-year-old rotten gentleman with a rather glorious curled white moustache. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Now we have introduced everyone. Thank you very much for that, guys. Alright, so yeah, I guess before we get too far, rules for chat: don't be a tool about someone's race, don't be a tool about someone's gender, most importantly, don't be a tool. If the mods decide to hit you with a banhammer, screw you, I trust them. There you go. Okay. Their word is law, as is mine. Alright, adding a bit of mood music. We find ourselves outside. We find ourselves following Lady Pip, and we find her with her companion, John. We find you guys running. You are running. You are both, sorry to say, at half hit points at the current moment. You are covered in blood. You are probably covered in gore. Maybe your blood. It may be someone else's blood. Who knows? I will leave this up to you. You are currently running. It is late night. It is getting really cold, and you are being hunted. You are being hunted by some particularly large, awful creatures. For those of us who live in the real world, the closest approximation is a deer, a doe. This thing, however, has 6 legs, very sharp antlers, and you are pretty sure those antlers, the ones that are coming for you right now, are covered in your blood. They have been hunting you for a few days now. John, you are aware that the place where you were born, the dwelling, England South Central, which I'll just call ESC from now on, you are aware that the entrance to this is pretty close. For the moment, you two think you may have a slight reprieve. What are you two doing? What are you two saying to each other?
How long or how far off were we to the ESC?
You think you're probably maybe half hour. It's been some time since you've been here, and it is still dark. But you think maybe half an hour at a brisk walk, at a run, probably 15. You're both pretty fast.
Okay. And are we out in the open, or are the trees?
So currently you are on a kind of, you would assume to be a major road if it was still in service. The road is broken up. There's like cars broken down everywhere, covered in rust and such like. There are trees off to one side of you which seem to be lining that side of the road. The other side seems to be like a very steep risen hill. It is possible for you to clamber up there, but it would take you guys some time and it's quite dangerous. It's not raining, it's just particularly dark and it is getting pretty cold. The point where your breath is beginning to, you know, you can see yourself breathing. You kind of have that kind of rise of air just in front of you. It is, for those of you, it is winter. Kind of got that crisp, almost about to snow feel to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I think that John will try to hold Pip in the front a little bit, so she will always be safer and keep up, kind of double timing the pace forward, but also kind of checking backwards, not expending any bullets or anything if they're not really close. However, the gun is out and always kind of very down key, saying that there is a place we should run.
What kind of guns do you have, out of curiosity?
I have a rifle that has been heavily modified throughout the years, and it is starting up probably just a rust bucket, but he's been meeting up people throughout his travels and been kind of modifying it and having a idea of how we wanted it to be at the very end, but parts are expensive, so it's taking time.
That is very true.
But now it's fully operational, so he is trying to take care of it at all times, mainly lubricants and some really good ammunition, if so.
Okay, cool. Good to know. I just didn't know what weapon you were taking in the end. It's like, here's a bunch of stats for a generic weapon. I don't know which one you're choosing, but it's good to know. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so yes, Lady Pip, you've been told that there is something nearby. Are you doing anything in particular other than you two just running, or?
Okay, so I'm running, and I'm going to keep looking behind me, and I'm going to want to see if I can spot one of these deers with 6 legs, just to see if we can move ourselves into maybe some cover.
Mm-hmm. Okay, take a perception check for me then. John, you're also welcome to take a perception should you wish.
I don't think I'm going to see an awful lot. I've rolled a 1.
Ooh.
So we'll add a 3 to that, so that makes it 4.
Okay. On that, yeah, you don't really spot anything. You don't really see anywhere else that you can take cover either. I'd say it's you have the trees on, let's say, the right hand side as you two are progressing up the road. There are trees on the right hand side, but it's dark and shady, and things that live in the woods are also kind of dangerous, and it is more of the natural turf for this kind of rad doe, as we'll call it. And I say the left hand side just seems to be sheer, kind of almost rock kind of hill. You don't see any real cover. John?
I got a 7.
A 7. You, as you are pushing forward and like looking around behind you, what would you... Yeah, no, screw it. You see in the moonlight a little reflection off of what you think is probably antlers. And they are progressing towards you at a bit of a rate. They are within the tree line. You can only spot one at the moment. Your inkling is, being you've dealt with this before, sometimes they do pick up others as a pack. There's only been one for sure that's been hunting you guys. You guys have taken another down in your trials of trying to get here. But you think it might be alone. but it's only a hoping.
Yeah, so John will kind of put his hand over to Pip, point towards where he's seen it. I think it's over there.
How far are we? Can we run there? Can we keep running? We need to keep running.
I agree.
Okay. So I'm going to, if I'm in front, I'm going to grab John's arm and run in the direction where I think we should be going. So the direction where we've been heading so far.
Okay.
But I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit more, possibly a little bit too fast for John, maybe because I've got that slightly bigger stride.
Yes, you're ginormous in comparison to John. Your gait is definitely, your strides are definitely longer than his. But you have a firm grip on John's arm as she essentially propels you guys forward. I need you to both make reflex saves for me, please. As you guys go barreling down this road, it's dark. You can only see bits of the moonlight reflecting various places, and the road is broken and very uneven. So what you guys get?
I have a 5.
A 5.
I get a 10er.
On a 5, you're, as I say, the road is broken and uneven. As you stroll forward, your foot falls down essentially a very large crack. And you basically fall forward as your foot gets caught in this, as you can't lift your foot out quite in time, and you basically fall pretty much flat on your face. But John, you kind of feel this, and you kind of come up a bit more of a commando standing roll. So you are standing. Pip, you are kind of laying face down in the filth as you guys hear a as this doe just jumps out and is not too far from you guys. Do you want to?
We don't have time to lay around. We need to move.
This wasn't my fault. I was trying to help.
Yeah. We need to move.
What is this thing?
We need to move, and then we can talk.
Can we not? It's just, if it's jumping on us, can we not like wrestle it to the ground?
There might be many more. And John starts to jog and kind of gives this motion.
Okay, I'm going to run after him because I don't want to be left alone with this thing.
As you kind of get up and John, you basically begin to jog forward, knowing that she's gonna catch up with you. There's no way she can't. She has way longer legs than you. You see this kind of like doe kind of look up and like, and it kind of looks in your direction as it sees you guys basically beginning to run, and it begins to like bound after you, and it's pretty much on your heels. You can guys, for those of you, whoever is at the back, you can pretty much, you know that itchy feeling when you know someone has something on you in the back of your neck, down your back, that kind of like hairs up moment. You kind of have that going on right now. Okay, so alright, yeah, you guys feel that it's moments behind you. If you don't take some sort of action, you are pretty sure, let's say that Pip is at the back, because you are trying to catch up with John. If you guys don't take some sort of action, it is going to be able to hit you.
Okay.
Well, John will take a name and we'll see what Pip will do.
Okay, so I'm going to... We've got cars either side of us, is that right?
Yeah, say that there is a car either side of you. You kind of get that feeling just as you find two clapped out cars, one to the left, one to the right. It's too dark to tell you what they are. They're just cars.
As I'm particularly scared, what I'm going to do is to dodge. I'm going to try and like sort of outmaneuver this thing and dodge behind one of the cars to see if I can find something to maybe distract it so it will go into a different direction.
Okay. All right. Take a. I'm gonna say that yeah, you can probably just dive behind this car without too much of a problem. If you're looking for something to distract you, like something to pick up and throw, I'm gonna need a perception check because it's dark. There's only like a small amount of moonlight for you guys to see anything by.
12.
A 12. Yeah, there are wheels on this car. You want a distraction? You got one.
I do like a wheel. Okay, so I'm just going to unbolt one of these wheels, and I'm going to kind of throw it like a frisbee, and I'm going to throw it into the trees, which are the other side of the road,
Okay.
to see if I can cause like a massive crash, which will distract it, and then it will kind of go towards that rather than us.
Okay, so I'm going to say you've managed to have time to dive over. You're basically right by the wheel as this doe kind of like takes a moment to try and figure out where the hell you are. I'm going to say rather than undoing the bolts, which will take time, it'd probably be easy for you just to rip the wheel off it. So I'm going to need you to make a strength check, just because I think that probably makes more sense in the time that you have.
12.
12. Yeah, you can rip this wheel from the car. This is nothing to you. John, what are you doing at this right moment? You are just ahead. You can kind of sense, because she's ginormous and she moves not gracefully. Well, no, you're kind of graceful, but you feel her land. You know that she's probably hidden somewhere. What are you doing? Were you watching the doe come?
So John sees or gets a little bit the idea, and he will try to sneak, so he will be close but hidden.
Okay. Again, as I say, there's probably more cars around that you could hide behind. So yeah, take a sneak or a stealth. I need to get a character sheet so I can remember what the hell I'm making you roll.
And she said that I am really cool. I got a total score of 13.
Yeah, you can basically, you're seeing what she's doing. You can like, oh, I'm hiding behind this car. Yeah, you found somewhere to hide. You're pretty sure. All right. So I'm gonna want you to make a dexterity check for me, Lady Pip, to chuck this thing far. Actually, no. Let's do a strength check, because you're probably gonna try and chuck it as far as you can into the trees. Yeah, go for it.
11.
11. It goes sailing like across like the car opposite you, and you see it hit a tree, and you see it bounce a couple and bounce down, and you see this kind of doe turn its head, and you see it basically bound after it with another kind of and sort of like bounding after this tire, which seems to be just bouncing and rolling into the tree line. You're pretty sure it's because it's not on an incline down. This is going to stop fairly soon. Pretty sure it's not going to distract it for long, but you have distracted it kind of long enough.
Okay. So I'm now going to sort of bound towards John, and look at him very intensely and say, "Darling, we need to keep running."
So John is just nodding and trying to keep up the pace.
Okay. John, I'm going to need you to make a knowledge check for me. This is so you can try and remember exactly where the entrance to ESC is.
9.
9. You're pretty sure it's up and around the bend to the left. You kind of recognize one of these burnt trees. The way that, certain things are growing on it, the way that these branches are bent on it. You're pretty sure it's around the corner from there. Its exact location on that side of the hill, you're not 100% sure, but you're pretty sure it's in that stretch. It's probably like 3 or 4 minute run.
So John will make a motion towards the direction and just double time that way.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Pip's going to follow him.
Can I have you both? Are you trying to do this sneakily, or are you just pounding the hell out of it?
No, I think we're going to go for it.
Yeah.
We're going to go for it?
Alright, I need you both to make... If you're just going to go for it, I need you both to make physical endurance saves for me. Because you're about to try and outrun a doe.
Yeah. But how fast can the 6-legged dog be, though?
Yeah.
7.
Ooh.
Still, I get a 9.
Ooh. Okay. A doe, a deer, a female deer.
Don't forget, you do have legendary points.
We might
Well,
need them.
it's
I
like
don't
5
know if you
minutes
guys
into
can
the game.
see that. The deer is catching up with you. As you like basically manage to pound the hell. Which one of you got the highest score?
John did.
Okay. As you basically pound it forward, you know that there's safety that kind of spurs you on a bit further. Pip, you are a little bit behind as this doe turns up and you hear that familiar kind of and it's just behind you and it goes for an attack. Sorry. Oh, well, that fucked that. You feel it kind of just like just breaking like your trousers. You feel that kind of rip of material. Oh my god, what a fucking failure. As it just like gores the back of your trousers. John, I need you to make a perception check for me.
A 12 in total.
12. As you kind of like run towards this tree and skid round to the left, you see that kind of break in the side of this kind of hill, this sheer hill, and you can see that there are some bushes and plants growing here, and you know that this, although it looks very thick, a thick amount of like of foliage and plants here, you know that if you barrel through that, that's the entrance to ESC. You know that that's the way in, that's the way you need to go. And
if we do, can the doe get in? Is it big enough for it?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it will be able to follow you in there.
So basically, he will try to find and take an aim and make a shot. That's his plan.
Okay. All right, take an attack roll for me then.
Absolutely. But I can't see. You made some upgrades kind of things, or?
Yup. So, in here, John's weapon.
Or is it so that you send it via this?
So it's in the handouts. In your handouts, on Roll20, there's John's weapon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of the bonuses. That's on top of the normal way that you calculate how to attack and damage.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. There it is. Oh, this is gonna be easy.
Is it really? I will remind you, it is dark. There's not a lot of moonlight here. It's bloody cold. You have been running for quite a while. You are injured, and your friend Pip, who is a ginormous post-gen, is standing between you and your quarry.
How about 19 with a 12?
You crit.
With
you
a
know
19,
you did. I love the way
12.
you just say that, like, oh, it's with a 12. You know what a 12 means.
I need to make the bracket there.
Smug fucker. Alright, roll me some damage, dude. Roll me some damage.
Let me see. And a plus here. That's good. I'm just gonna make that notion. A plus here. So a 11.
11 damage. Okay. Is it a single shot rifle or is it an automatic? What are you doing? What is it?
Shooting single.
You're shooting singles. Alright. Is that just the mode of this gun?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Either one or, oh yes, kind of great in. But no, just shooting one.
Okay, you're just gonna shoot the one. Alright, I need the two of you who are inside the dwelling, or rather within the cave entrance-ish to the dwelling, I need you two to make perception rolls for me. Welcome to the game, guys.
You sure we're allowed?
You are possibly allowed to make a roll.
I rolled a no.
What did you get?
Like 6.
Yeah, you rolled a no. Thirsty, you're muted, my man.
In the rolling,
So-
I'm just happy that it's.
I got a glorious 12.
I assume a non-natural 12.
Yeah, a 10 plus 2.
Okay. You two are standing guard at the entrance to the cave system. You two both have on you One of you has a pistol because one of you is particularly crap at using big guns. The other one of you does in fact have a two-handed weapon. Yes. Yes, Thirsty. Not Thirsty. Tara, what's up?
I'm
Cameron.
putting my hand up for the pistol.
Okay, you both have pistols then. You both have everyday, run-of-the-mill, bog-standard, crappy pistols. Brother Rupert, you hear shots being fired outside. Sorry, a shot being fired outside. It's not in and of itself unusual, but it is pretty fucking close.
Boy, go inside. Tell me we've got company.
Only boy. But okay.
Move your ass, boy. I don't need any lip from you.
So is Cameron going to run back inside the cave system back towards the report to his elders?
I'm going to saunter in, not run.
Okay. You're going to saunter?
And just say, you're going to need every lip that you can get.
Burn. Rupert, what are you up to? Are you just going to stand there?
I'm going to retreat into the cave entrance a little way.
Excellent.
There's no point being seen if people have guns.
Alright, good. Nice to know where you two stand. Alright, back outside. Lady Pip, you have just heard a shot being fired. The doe behind you, where were you aiming to shoot, John?
Probably center mass, or the biggest part of it that is visible.
Yeah, center mass is probably a good call. You kind of see as Pip turns around and kind of like manages to narrowly dodge getting hit by these antlers, and as it kind of flips its head back up, you take it square in that kind of joint, just sort of like roughly here, and you see a huge explosion of essentially blood just like shooting out the back. And you see it drop to its knees and kind of like shake its huge antlered head. You've scored a significant hit on it, but it's still alive. Lady Pip, what are you doing?
Okay, so is it able to walk at this point?
At the moment, after having taken a fantastic shot to the neck, it's kind of bent down on two of its legs and kind of like trying to shake its head and like kind of get its bearings again. It's one could consider it slightly dazed, slightly stunned. It has just been shot in the throat. So you reckon you guys can probably get a good couple of hits in it before it gets back up to being able to do anything. But you are right by it.
I am right by it, and I don't have any weapons. Okay, that's okay.
Do you not have any weapons?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You probably would have weapon. I mean, it's up to you what kind of weapon you'd want.
I've got quite a few bonuses on unarmed, so I think what I'm going to do...
You are a weapon.
I am a weapon.
Love it.
I'm going to, as it's kind of shaking its head, I'm going to kind of grab it by the antlers, and I'm going to try and rip one of them off, and use that like a weapon.
That is fucking brutal. Go for it. I need you to take I'm actually going to make you take a strength check on this because you're trying to rip its antler off.
Okay. So I crit.
Sure. Yeah, you
so casually.
It's so casually. Yeah, of course I do this. Yeah, you basically just like grab it by both antlers and decide to rip one side of its head off. Roll your standard unarmed damage.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, so I rolled a 9. That makes it 14, 15, 16. Now, a question.
Sure.
Rupert has a special hand, which happens to have a religious symbol on it.
Uh-huh.
Do we currently count as near?
And even if he's near, you can't see him.
Okay.
You can't see it to be afraid of it.
Fair enough. In which case I have 17.
Okay. I like the cheek, but no. So do you want to explain what you were just talking about to those in the audience who have no clue?
So I have the afraid trait or perk, I'm not sure which if I am near a religious symbol, because of my background and because I was so brutally wounded by the church, every time I am near a religious symbol, I gain +1 on all my traits because I'm just like hyper aware and a little bit afraid. However, if I'm left alone with them, that just tips me over the edge.
Okay, I'm gonna make a ruling here. Normally, like, because you're afraid of this, like, if you're left alone with it, you would get -2, but because it's attached to a person, I feel it may be somewhat slightly broken. So I'm gonna say that when you are left alone with Rupert as well, even though he's technically a person, don't get me wrong, he is a person, you will still have that negative trait of that. Because he comes with the territory, I'm afraid. Alright, so you rip this antler off its head, and you hear this like very kind of satisfying like crack and like the tearing of flesh, as you see this kind of like squirt of blood coming out. You have in your hands an antler from the head of a doe, from the head of a rad doe. John, what are you up to?
So she basically ripped off a leg.
One of the antlers.
Antlers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably feeling like we should have moved several instances ago. Maybe when I shot it, could kind of suffice as like a movement, but sure. So we'll take another shot at it.
Sure.
Why not?
Why the hell not?
So that's a 13.
A 13. I'm going to say yes, because it's essentially stunned, give or take.
And then it is a damage of 10.
Oh, very nice. Where are you aiming? Center mass again? Head?
Yeah, if I'm trying the head, it would probably be very hard. So yeah, center mass is probably...
Okay. Yeah, for sure. You essentially do get it in it's pretty much like almost like maybe 5 or 6 inches below the shot you made before. You see like another huge bullet hole just like appear in its chest, and it's kind of fallen down now, and you see the blood pooling underneath it. But Pip, you are aware that it is still breathing. Its head is still thrashing from side to side, and you hear kind of like of pain as it's trying to like smash its head around. It's still alive.
Is it likely to die?
Take
having ripped its head off.
Now that there's a good couple of wounds in it, and you've ripped one of its antlers off. I'll tell you what. Take a medic check on it for me.
5.
A 5. You're fairly certain it can't. It's pretty fucked.
Okay. John, should we head on in? Should we go and find these people?
Yeah.
With that, you have a trophy. Amazing. Okay. You guys head on in. Lady Pip, how tall are you?
7 foot.
7 foot. Yeah, you can pass through this without any sort of problem. The foliage is pretty thick, and it's for a good long way into this kind of like really small cave system. It's kind of like a narrow entrance. And you guys manage to make your way through all of this, because it's so thick, essentially a couple of branches break, but without too much worry, you can put it sort of back-ish into place, should you wish to.
Yeah, probably repairing the way we came in, putting things a little bit at least. Well, that is probably not anything we could repair, but I'll let it lay there. Yeah,
you do a good enough job at this point in the evening. I'm just going to move you guys to roughly where I think you might want to be. Wrong one. You're somewhere here. You're somewhere here. And you would be sort of here. You guys should be able to see the next screen now.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Good. Yeah, you managed to break your way into sort of a pass, and just ahead of you, you see that there is a narrowing of the passage, and that there is a small barricade set up. Essentially, just a couple of what would kind of be like sandbags, but John, you would know them just to be filled with rubble and dirt and that sort of thing. And you can see ahead of you what looks like a humanoid. He's human, missing fair amount of skin, with a white twirly moustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, nailed it. You see that before you. Before we quite get into that social interaction. Actually, no, screw it. Get into that. Cameron, you probably wouldn't have gotten that far because that destroying of the dough really didn't take that long. Alright, yeah, this is what you two see before you.
Do I recognize? Do I know? Have we interacted before?
John, you would know this to be Father Rupert, PhD. Father Rupert, I need you to make a knowledge check for me.
That's Brother Rupert.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Oh, God. That is 15.
Yes, you recognise him. He's a fair bit older. Don't get me wrong, he's a fair bit older. And you can't quite place his name, but you do recognise him. He was one of the first lot to go outside when this dwelling had its kind of internal struggle. He was one of the first out. You don't really remember exactly what his name is, but you recognise him as one of your own, or as one of the dwelling's own at least. And John, inverted commas, you do know this person. He's not easy to forget. There you go.
So yeah, John will have the rifle within the clothes kind of hidden a little bit on a sling. So he's walking up with a good pace, not running now, as he's thinking that the dough is probably hindered enough to essentially bleed out. So he is approaching, and he looks and sees Rupert. So they're putting a father here. That's good resourcing. And he is moving up.
You there, boy. What are you doing back here?
More the things that doesn't really concern you, but sure. I'm back for things. And he moves just upward.
Always a sparkling conversationalist. Who's this?
So I've not noticed Rupert's clothing. Because I wouldn't. Darling, I'm afraid we're in a bit of a bind. There's this beastly thing outside that we've just had to kill, and I've got this trophy. It's just brilliant.
Oh, you mean the beast inside outside? Not. Oh yeah. That's true. So we just need to tell Rupert here that we are just passing back in and forth.
These two do look a bit of a mess. They are bleeding a lot. They are clearly without a lot of rations right now. They do not look in a healthy way. And the female that speaks is you would definitely recognise this as a post-gen of sorts. Cameron, you are close enough to hear this, by the way. You didn't get particularly far before these two came bumbling their way in.
Shall I move my character back then?
It's entirely up to you. You can do what you want.
Go. How much is it worth to you? To get in here, obviously.
Yeah. Do I remember?
John, since you were born here, you have rights to come in and out as you wish. Lady Pip, however, does not.
Well, since I can move, I will not do much. But for her, that's another discussion, of course. So I don't know how much the rate is for visitors.
Depends. How often have you come back?
Back and forth, maybe a couple of times each month.
I'm gonna let you guys decide this between yourselves.
I'll lead it up to Cameron, and he's probably more.
Yeah, this
Into the
upstart
politics.
young kid.
Hey, I'm 25. I'm not a kid.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be 19. Actually, I thought you were gonna be
people
16 at
moan.
one point. Whatever.
Yeah.
People moan, so I changed it.
All right, whatever.
2 Calbrick.
Tack.
How
Oh, it's
about
Cabrick, yeah.
Tack.
Tack.
Yeah. Which one?
Tack.
Yes.
2 tack.
So I'll give you 1, and you'll be a happy person.
Deal.
All right, then, John, strike one tack off of your starting amount attack.
Boy,
so-
for being such a cheeky bastard, you can go and get the deer. Dinner for everyone.
What deer?
The one that she ripped an antler off of. They were shooting it.
Is it dead?
Yeah. It's
That's your job.
Yeah, it's bleeding out, so you can get it. It'll cost you 2 tech, so. But you can have it for 1.
I'm sure it won't be too much trouble to go and get it. I mean, we shot it a little bit, and it basically buggered.
That's good. Someone else can do it.
I guess that Rupert
Do
can
I
do
look
it.
like a servant?
I
No,
don't
you look like
know.
somebody who wants to eat.
I do eat quite well, actually.
Uh,
Well, you've not got any armour on, so you know what
I
are
don't need
you?
armor.
Yeah, that's the perk of living inside.
Do they not go out? Do they not fight? What do you do all day?
That's kind of no on all the questions.
we serve God, young lady.
We don't do that.
Sorry, what now?
We don't do that. That's just weird.
That's just Rupert. He is.
At this point, the left hand comes up from over the barricade with a great big cross fused to it. We serve God, young lady.
Young lady, I'd like you to make a knowledge check for me, please.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's outside.
Oh, okay. 10.
You don't recognise anything of significance right now.
We don't serve God. He serves God, and no one really listens to him.
That's true. We could agree on that one.
I'm going to look a little calmer.
Okay, that's good.
We're not a religious fanatic group that decides to do stuff.
As you guys are chatting your way through this, you guys become aware that someone who is actually kind of wearing this this kind of armoured jumpsuit of sorts. You kind of got thick padding on the chest and the shoulders and the legs and whatnot. It's greyish in colour with kind of like stripes and strips of blue on it. Red. Or stripes and strips of red on it. You two, in fact the 3 humans here, the 2 humans and the rotter here, know this to be the guard security type of this particular dwelling. And he comes up behind Cameron, sees John, which he kind of recognises, inverted commas, and the Lady Pip. And he looks across at you all and says, so, are they coming in, or we tell them to piss off? Because the boys and I are a bit bored, so if we need to, we can pitch them out.
Well, there's a deer just out past them brushes that's half dead.
Half dead.
Could eat. Well, it's lost an antler and been shot a couple of times.
Sees the antler, just gives you a nod of respect. Because there's still like kind of it's like gore hanging off the end of it. So what? We want it or not?
Well, yeah, food's good.
All right. How big is it? Little one, big one?
Well,
It
look at the
is
antler.
rather big, so you maybe need the big muscles.
He looks down at his muscles, which, to be fair, aren't that large. You see him traipse back into the kind of, as you can only really see from here, kind of the darkness of the rest of the cave system.
Yeah. John will start walking as he's gonna walk inside, so he's probably gonna make his way and say, "We will see how much it changed."
All right. 3 guards make their way out.
How dead is this deer likely to be?
With your medic check you did earlier, yeah, pretty sure it's dead. You're pretty sure it's fucked.
Just wondering. Cucumber. Cucumber.
Hey.
Just wondering if it would be worth taking this in as some kind of like peace offering, because 7 foot brick shit house walking in. Just sort of, gifts when you go to a dinner party.
You're bringing them a houseboy present.
Bringing in
We've
the
been here for
wine.
200 years.
Sure. If you want to, do you want to go back out alone, or are you accepting the guards' help?
I think the guards' help will probably
Okay.
quite
Alright.
useful.
You and the guards make your way back out through the foliage. And ahead of you, you see the deer has managed to kind of like try and kind of like make its way towards you. It's definitely moved since you've seen it last, but its head is laying on the ground. Its eyes are wide and unmoving. It's you're pretty sure it's toasted.
Okay. I think I might just make sure. And I'm going to use my torture skill to take its antler and just kind of stab it in the head.
All right. So that,
double check.
I don't think that's necessarily torture. I think that's probably coup de grace. It's if it did have an existence at this point, which it didn't. It's definitely gone now. It is definitely bereft of life now.
Okay. It's maybe a show for the guards, just to kind of...
Okay, yeah. You make a beautiful show of stabbing this thing in the head with its own antler.
Putting it back. That's what she's doing.
The wrong way.
I'm taking it with me.
Putting it back the wrong way into its own head is just so beautiful. This thing is definitely dead.
Okay.
The guards are suitably impressed. The guard that came and spoke to you guys earlier with the... to be fair, the rest of them all have stripes of red on too. All carrying small pistols of some sort. And they look down, he's like, "Blimey, that's bloody huge. You guys took that on your own?"
Well, yes, just us. We're, defending you. And then I think I'm going to pick it up and move back towards...
Alright, I'm going to need you to make a strength check because this thing is pretty heavy.
12.
A 12, yes. You pick this thing up without so much of the thought. It's you get a good heft, you kind of wiggle around a little bit to deal with the fact it has 6 legs. It's a bit cumbersome. And the antlers that you've... that was existing on it is still sharp and can, it's giving you a little bit of a scratch, but nothing major. And the other one is safer because you plunged the dangerous end into it. You managed to heft this thing kind of across your shoulders, and yeah, you can make your way back in. And I'm even not even going to make you roll charisma. I think these guards may well be in love with you. This is the coolest thing they've seen in a while. This ginormous 7-foot woman strolling back in with a huge freaking rad deer on her shoulders. Nice. As you make your way back in, you can see the guards are kind of like moving some of the branches back into place, so the ones that they can salvage. But you are carrying a rad deer. A lot more things are broken than they were before. Maybe the covering here will need a little more time to grow back than it did before. Brother Rupert, you see Lady Pip strolling back in with a rad deer on her shoulder. Rad though.
Great God! What the? Good work. Yeah, yes. Good to see someone's contributing to the community. He looks at Cameron sharply. Didn't fetch help. Tried to extort the trying to extort the newcomers.
Didn't extort. It's different.
Oh my gosh.
You shall fall to the weight of your own sin.
Yes, a
Well,
beautiful.
like you did.
Wow. John, having strolled your way back into the main cave system itself, you see a very large chamber. Off to your left and off to your right, you can see there are a lot more people living here than you've probably seen here living here for a while. There's newcomers, some people you possibly recognise. There's a couple of rotters here and there, very few post-gens. There's probably like maybe 2 others. You can see that there are a lot of buildings, shacks that have sort of been crudely built here and there. Some of the more permanent ones look a bit nicer. Not great, but nicer than you've probably stayed in for quite a while, or at least since you guys have been running from this dough anyway. You can see there are a lot of people still chatting about, despite the very late hour. You also notice that there are quite a few guard folk here, wearing the dwelling grey with red stripes. They are symbolised by the ones that look like that. They're kind of around all over the place. There's a fair few of them too. They tend to be... take a perception check actually, John.
11.
11. Yes, fairly blatantly obvious, kind of. You notice that they are all carrying small weapons, small pistols of sorts. 1 or 2 of them are carrying slightly larger rifles that seem to be not necessarily great. One might not call them quite up to everyday scratch, but they still have them. There seem to be a lot of them, and they all seem to be from the slightly older generation, like your generation. Some of these people you would recognise as friends way back in the day. Some of them were definitely opposed to this opening of the dwelling itself. But this is essentially what you see. You don't always remember all of their names, it has been a while. But yes, this is kind of what you see. There's a lot of people here.
I guess that Jan also have been shunned a little bit and looked down upon, leaving and kind of turning the back on them. And he, at this point, doesn't really care, and maybe 1 or 2 is friendly enough to give a nod and respectfully giving it back. And, as he's looking to his side and looking back, he's seeing that Pip is not there, and kind of just, where did she go now?
As you have that kind of like look around of like, you know, sharing a nod of respect to each other, as you like realise that your ginormous shadow is not there currently, you kind of like, oh no, where the hell is she? And you look around and you see these 3 guards like walking ahead of her, and you basically see her appear out of this kind of like darkness carrying the dead rando on her shoulders. You notice that the antler she had torn out is now buried in this thing's head.
Oh, that's a thing. So I guess you helped out, I see. That's good. And he kind of gives a thumbs up and looks a little awkwardly.
The little awkward like
Yeah, well, he says a little, very low key to himself. She is helping at least, so positively thought.
All right. So what are you guys doing now? What are the 2 of you who are supposed to be on guard entrance duty up to, and what's Lady Pip up to?
I sat back down and started reading again.
What are you reading?
A very old book that's only half there.
Uh,
It says 50 Shades and that's it.
oh my god.
It's just 20 shades. You don't get the rest.
Don't forget 25 shades. Skag, take a legendary point, my man. Oh man. Excellent. Yes, you're reading 20 shades of maybe grey. Okay. Cool. You sit down and start reading this again. Brother Rupert, what are you up to?
Alright, as the security guys that went out to help Pip come back through, I'm going to ask to be relieved.
Oh, okay. The one that's a bit more vocal than the other. So, but you ain't finished your. It's not my turn.
Well, serving this with Cameron there is, a trial in itself, and I really must get back to my ministry.
Yeah, but it's not my turn.
Well, I've decided it's not my fucking turn now either. So,
Take a manipulate check, and you got to go for charisma. There's no intellect in this at all.
Oh, nice. 14.
You managed to guilt this guy into staying. He is supposed to be on duty of sorts, but not necessarily here. He's like, all right, brother, fine. I'll take your shift. Just remember this in your prayers or whatever.
Of course I will. You're serving God. A very good job.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, he'll take your place.
Zah. I'll head inside.
Alright. Cool. Cameron, what are you up to, my man?
You already asked me and I told you.
Oh yeah, you're reading, aren't you? You're just going to stay here and read. You're not actually going to do your job. Good to know. Lady Pip, what are you up to?
So I'm going to put the deer down and take my antler back. And I'm going to stride up to Cameron and have a look over his shoulder and raise an eyebrow at the content.
You are also, by the way, he is probably the most attractive male you've seen in a while.
Okay.
Oh no! Don't look at him. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Darling, do you have a pub around here? I'm absolutely desperate to get blotto.
A pub? What self-respecting place does not have a pub?
That was
marvelous. Do you want to head, lead the way, old chap?
Certainly. I'm pretty sure MacGyver here's got it.
MacGyver, my gods. Alright. MacGyver. I need to write that shit down. No, that's fine. I don't care. This is half the fun. MacGyver.
As I kind of stand up, pat the guy on the back and just start walking away.
Yeah, mate, you ain't finished your
You got it, you're good.
No, mate, you're
good.
Look, just because your dad's in charge doesn't mean that you can just piss off on your thing. Come on.
Hey. I just turn around, do a little wink, and go, "I got your back." If anything does come up, that's bad for you.
Take a charisma check for me, man. Manipulate charisma.
Manipulate charisma.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a 15.
Sure. Look, why don't you get Harry to give me a hand?
Done.
All right, you walk in.
Walk in. Can I see Harry?
Yeah, Harry's standing next to. Yeah, Harry's in a small. Well, Harry's that dude to the left there.
Okay. I go over and tap him on the shoulder.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, Harry.
Yeah, yes, sir.
MacGyver needs you.
Oh, yeah, sure. And he just scoots off, and joins the other. All right, so there's. That's how you do it.
That's how you get out of guard, duty.
That's how you get out of guard, duty. World's best guards ever. All right, so essentially the four of you are in here. If you're looking to get Blotto, you would know that Lady Pip is not really going to be allowed into the dwelling itself, but sort of. As you guys look across, directly opposite you, there is a narrowing of this cave. Y'all been here before knows that this is actually an entrance towards the dwelling itself proper. Off to the right-hand side, there is a small drinking establishment in a little small side cave. And if you went directly ahead, you'd get to kind of the antechamber, entrance chamber to the actual dwelling itself. So, There you go.
Where I pinged, yeah?
The one that has blood and a little dude in a hoodie. Yes, there.
Awesome. So, you want the pub? You can't get in the dwelling, so you can't get the good stuff, but please follow me. And I walk straight over there.
Right. As you walk over there, you're fairly used to it. Some people give you a filthy look because you are the son of the overseer. Some of you give you a filthy look because actually is Brother Rupert going with? I'm going to assume at this point currently you are all together if you just kind of like entered the cave sort of thing. So it's up to you guys if you want to go together or not. So
Yeah, I'm following this.
okay.
At least.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. If only to keep an eye on that giant one. Can't trust the newcomers.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Some of you give you a filthy look because of Brother Rupert. He puts some people off. Other people adore him. Some people just fear him. Some of them, John, you notice, definitely give you a filthy look. So far as they're concerned, you're a bit of a traitor, and they don't really want you here. Other people just give you a smile, a nod, and a wave, sort of thing. No one seems too perturbed by Lady Pip. There are other post-gens here who are much taller, much thicker than she is. Alright, you guys enter this kind of like little side cave, and you see this woman essentially standing behind a bar of sorts. Is actually just a plank of wood on top of two kind of like barrels, and you see in the corner there's a guy wearing a hoodie and a hat, and he's just like wandering around cleaning things up and like taking beers back over to her as they kind of like wash and clean. You kind of get the idea that these two people are the barkeep here, and for those of you who've been here before, they are the barkeep. They're not wearing the standard dwelling stuff, but they came from the dwelling initially. John, you've probably run these two in and out of the cave system a couple of times, so you would know them to be Helen and fuck it, and Michael. There you go.
Good, solid names.
Good solid names.
I feel I must distrust them at once.
Of course.
Definitely distrust the one in the hoodie, but yes.
Yeah. So that is one to not trust at all. Yeah, I'll follow the lead a little bit to see where Pip is going, so nothing bad at this point will happen, knowing that she is new here and people are suspicious in general. But all in all, kind of glad that Mr. Nice Face here is actually taking care of the initial things.
Okay.
So we'll probably have a little bit of a low key, follow along a little bit and see what people are talking about. So we'll listen in and see what the latest gossip is.
So are you listening in the bar area? Are you listening just outside the bar area? Are you listening to the gossip sort of thing?
I'll probably take the bar and find a place where I can have a bit of an overwatch to where they are doing or what they are and stuff like that. But we'll listen into and look like I'm really caring. Like, yeah, that's true. That's so.
You're basically trying to blend in.
Yeah, such a douche.
Oh yeah,
Who?
I mean that guy.
Yeah, that person.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
You know, him from accounting. Yeah. All right. Take a perception check for me, and then I'll give you the results later on.
I'm John from accounting. Yeah. Let's see. A perception, and that will be a 11.
11. Okay. All right. That's actually really good to know. All right, cool. Yeah, you found a little place to settle down. I assume other people will be purchasing the drinks, so we'll go across to the other three. How are you splitting up? Or are you going to go order more drinks? Are you going to go sit down with John? There are a couple of people in this bar. Some of them are clearly off-duty security. Some of them are wearing yellow flashes on their uniforms. You know these guys to be kind of like the inverted commas field hands, the ones that help grow and like create food and that sort of stuff. They're the only real guys in here. There's probably about half a dozen of them. Some of them look a bit perturbed. Some of them just look like they're gonna get wasted.
I'm going to, I think, go up to the bar and offer these gentlemen a drink.
The woman, yeah, the woman. She just like looks up at you and she smiles like, "Oh, another newcomer from the outside."
Good evening. I'm looking to get some drinks for these lovely gentlemen. I don't suppose you have like baby sham or I don't know, something fizzy.
Baby sham. Wow. I'm sorry, I don't really have any baby sham. It's not something Mike and I stock, I'm afraid. I mean, if we...
Anything you can put in a glass, really?
Oh, we can put everything in a glass. Are you talking mug, or are we talking delicate glass? And she lifts her little finger.
Delicate glass. And maybe some wine for the thing with the skin. And definitely it's something fruity for the young boy.
Okay, so something delicate to put in a glass. I have something. It's I wouldn't exactly call it wine. It's I can make it something fizzy. I mean, we have to break into something very valuable to make it work, but it will cost you a little bit. Something fruity for the boy. You mean Cameron?
That'll be him, the little one.
Yes, we've got some fruit juice we can give him. We have some red wine, very old vintage, of course. So just the 3 drinks? What about your friend John? So you come in with?
Yes. Now I believe he is after something a bit stronger.
Are we talking whiskey?
Yes, I think that's probably best. He has a few things to forget.
Okay. Sure, no problem. Okay, no problem. That will set you back. Do you deal in trade or do you deal in tack?
Right now I think probably tack.
Okay. Let's say because John is an old friend, and Cameron is who he is. Let's say it will set you back about a tack. We'll do the whole thing for a tack.
That sounds super. Thank you.
Awesome. Do you want to set up a tab? Do you want to pay later on? Are you going to be around that long?
Let's do it now. And
Okay.
I'm going to hand over.
Cool. Just as a heads up, since you're new here, we have a no weapons policy. We have a don't start a fight policy because my friend over there has a shotgun. And she points over to Michael, who looks just this small, demure little dude. But you kind of like second glance, he definitely has some sort of automatic shotgun strapped to his back, and it's pristine.
Okay, that's no problem, darling. All I have is this little trophy. And all I want to do is put it on top of the shelf.
You present her with this bleeding stump of an antler. Oh, well, that's kind of gross. Appreciate you not leaving that in my bar. So if you wouldn't mind, I'll either put it back here and you can get it later, or you can leave it just outside.
Okay, I'll leave it with you for safekeeping. I'm sure you'll keep it safe for me.
She kind of like leans back a bit and picks it up with the smallest amount that she can of her hands. Like, this is kind of gross. And she just delicately chucks it into the corner. You hand over your tack, and she says, if you go sit down, I'll bring them over to you. Not a problem. Not a problem. And yeah, she meanders around, potters around a little bit, and she comes to your table, if you're all going to go sit together, and she presents you with, you know, a small shot of whiskey for John. She hands over some fruit juice, probably, I want to say apple. Yeah, screw it, apple juice for the boy. She brings over a glass of the brother's wine, and she presents you with what looks like kind of red wine. You think it's probably red wine, and she presents you with a very old silvery can. I mean, the kind of like, you get like hints of green on it, and it's been popped open, and you hear this kind of like fizzing from inside, and it's a clear fluid that's fizzing inside this. For all of us on the outside, she's just presenting you with a can of lemonade.
Thank you very much. This all looks super. Gentlemen, chin chin.
Why do I have apple juice?
Go.
Yeah, I thought you were
Old enough.
Old enough.
I am.
Drink up, boy. Don't be ungrateful. Take a
Stop
sip of the
calling me
wine.
boy, damn it!
Take a sip of the wine. Tastes like Ribena and antifreeze. My favourite.
Right. You have taste buds?
It has been known.
Antifreeze, it's so good. Cool, excellent, wonderful news. John, as you have been listening around in this bar, you hear a couple of the younger ones talking and whispering. They seem to be talking about some sort of... You've been around this place long enough, and you were probably a part of this back when in the day, but these are quite young to have been around when you were having these sort of conversations. They're definitely talking about doing something, about rising up against someone, and do you think you probably recognise the name Elcom, which you know to be the current kind of overseer of the place. There are definitely seeds of rebellion here, but you can't pick out exactly what they're trying to rebel against. You'll also notice that that Michael seems to be shooting them some furtive looks. He's very confused and kind of maybe a little bit irked by the whole thing. But these are kind of what you kind of pick up. It's not overtly said in any way.
And by giving this discreet look around, is it so that they are kind of eyeing Mr. Handsome here a little bit extra?
Some of them for sure. I'll tell you what, take a knowledge check for me, John.
Knowledge? I don't know what I am in knowledge. Jesus Christ.
I mean, you can take a perception check, you can justify anything to me, you know me.
It doesn't really matter. It's a 4 there, and it's a 10.
A 10. Some of them are looking at him distrustingly. Like they're kind of not really, like they need to be quiet because he's here. But some of them seem to be giving him very much an approving look of like, yeah, maybe we could do something. Maybe we could approach. And others are like, no, don't do that. It's not. Don't trust him. It's kind of a mixed bag.
So he is basically, John, looking around, getting the feel of it, and looking back at Cameron, who is looking at his non-drink.
Yep.
Looking probably really, really sour. So I've been looking around, listening in, and the little bit that I've heard is that it's not going so well for your family, is it?
It's not going well for most families in the world.
So I would say that with that, you're probably either gonna get revolted here fairly soon, and either just your own father, or probably the people around here are looking if they could help or, not help with you. So the question is, do you want to stay here and take the fight, or when we leave, follow and see what is outside?
Why would I want to leave? It's cozy in here. You've actually got beds.
Well, your bed will probably, in a very, very short time, be demoted to entrance bed.
Entrance bed. Entrance
Yeah.
door.
The outside. They will probably kick you out. With a blanket.
Are
If
you
you're really
Words,
nice.
leave with you or
are
leave.
you being
kicked out.
subtle about this conversation, John?
Yeah, to him.
Okay. Alright, in that case I need to make a roll. And can you also, anyone who's kind of like looking around, because I'm going to assume all four of you can hear and be part of this conversation. Anyone who's looking around the bar, also take a perception check for me. I'm excluding John and I'm excluding Cameron from this conversation because they're talking to each other.
Glorious 11 for glancing around.
Alright.
Slightly better 12.
As you two are looking around, you realise that Michael is over at the bar with Helen. And they seem to be having a quiet conversation, and Michael keeps looking over at you guys, and he seems to have spotted that these two are having a somewhat abrupt conversation. You can see him like frowning as he's concentrating very much on the things that he thinks they're saying. Carry on.
But a revolt was probably going to happen. The dwelling's kind of falling apart. Everyone wants to either leave or take it over and see if they can do better.
Yeah, problem is,
Had it been happened since you left?
it's been happening even when I was here.
True.
But with a lot of new people, new ideals and new things start to arise.
The funny thing is that my dad doesn't let anyone actually into the dwelling, which would help.
Those of you who are looking about the bar realise that Michael is making his way over to you.
Do I sense or see? I'm trying to keep a little bit an eye out.
I'm gonna say yeah. You probably noticed that he's on his way over. It's not.
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah, he's in no way being subtle. He's clearly made up his mind to make his way over to you. He doesn't really do subtlety.
So John will just stop the conversation mid-sentence, kind of. You are lying about it. This is really good.
As Michael crosses the room, I just be like, Mikey boy, another drink for us, please. I see him coming over. Might as well acknowledge it.
Subtle.
When the bar staff come over and you've only got one drink, order another. It's the rule of the world.
More the
Yeah, you see him.
guns.
You see him look uncomfortable and then just turn back to Helen and just walk back over to them, and she's already pouring a new round.
I'm going to look over at Brother Rupert and so what's the deal with these two? They seem tense.
Which two?
Good point. The two at who are in the bar. They just seem a little tense with us here.
Well, it's not exactly the most restful of times. If you look around, you'll see there's all manner of ne'er-do-wells and discontent. The short one with the on his back here. He has trouble relaxing. I don't know how. He lives in a pub.
He's well known to be a grumpy fuck.
Yes. It's trouble relaxing. Strange for a man who lives in a pub.
And yet you're all like inside. I'm still having trouble with this inside thing.
Yes, you see, long ago, when the apes climbed down from the trees, they realized that rain fell upon them. In God's glory, he allowed them to huddle in caves and build small boxes to hide inside.
Hey, father, brother, you gotta cut the god talking here. You have your church, I have mine.
Thank you.
But brother, you believe the whole ape thing? How fascinating! Do tell me about it.
At this point, Michael walks across with the a new set of drinks, and he puts it down in front of you, and he gives John a long, hard stare.
Yeah, John is just giving off a smirk and nods back slowly.
Michael takes the chair, turns it round, and sits down.
What's up, Mike?
Michael.
Yeah, do tell.
So him looking around. He sort of nods at the kids that seem to be debating whether they were or were not going to be friends with Cameron. He says, so if things were to go down here, are you guys going to help? And he's staring mostly at John. I'm gonna say, you probably kind of know him a bit.
What kind of things? If you don't mind me asking.
And see,
They're talking about removing some people.
As long as it's not me, I'm good.
Well, it's not you, but it's your father, probably.
might wanna. You're not really good at this keeping quiet thing, are you? Yeah.
It's fairly open. It's not so much a hidden treasure.
Not in here. But out there. It indicates the rest of the cave system. No. What we're talking about, Cameron, is killing your father.
To what means? As in, what do you want to change? After
Everything.
he is dead.
Everything. Letting people like join. We need people here. You're not blind to that, are you?
Yeah, of course we need people here. The dwelling's falling fucking apart.
Exactly. Your father and people like him.
They're fucking stupid.
Yeah. Blind idiots. People like John, though. Got out first time. Shouldn't have stayed.
Well, it's still always good to have a place to go back to that's working. As it's not working, we need to change it. And maybe get rid of the God thing as well.
He's
joke,
paying
Robert.
absolutely
Joke.
no attention to this, as he kind of looks between Pip and John and back at Rupert. So he can count you if we make a move, right? And he kind of looks at Cameron and is like, we make a move on your father, you're not going to stop us.
Well, instead of making a move on him, I could get to him.
Are you talking about popping your old man?
Well, not in that blatant terms. Maybe he had a heart attack, and I take over, and we can change the stuff. Maybe I put you in charge.
Hold on, that I've got enough on my plate.
Exactly.
Take a manipulate intellect for me.
Crit.
Cool. All right. All right. I'm getting news to you. Don't leave. And with that, you see him stand up. You see take his hat off, chucks over at Helen, who just, without too much of a glance, just kind of catches it and puts it on. And you see him leave. And that's where we are going to take a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
Delicious.
Look at that perfect timing. Okay, so what do you guys want to do now? Michael has left the bar.
I'm going to drink my second drink.
All right, make
I'm
a.
going to drink my second apple juice.
Yeah.
And I'm going to peer into my bubbly stuff and just wonder to myself what it is.
They've given you one of those like dinky cans of lemonade.
Yeah, a genuine dinky little can of lemonade.
That's amazing, considering that wouldn't Lady Pip have like a fist the size of a large ham?
Yes, she would.
Like,
Yes.
literally, like
A small shot.
Not even that.
Yeah. There is something. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it got away.
It was there for a second.
Yeah.
Spanners, you have a legendary point, gifted by Corone, with the message, use this wisely, smiley face. As is the rules, generally, try and use this before the end of this particular session so Corone can see you use it. However, if you do want to store it, it is there for you. Alright, cool. Wow, at least I know that that feature works now. I was forever like, oh, does it work? Am I the only one who thinks this works? It works. This is good. I'm very happy. Thank you for the test. Alright. So those of you imbibing alcohol, I'd like you to make a poison endurance save for me, please.
Holy hell, each time.
14.
A 14.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're fine. This is not the first time you've drunk communal wine.
Nope.
I am at 11.
This is some good whiskey, man, but it's not enough to get you wrecked.
And tiny cans of lemonade. Yeah.
Tiny cans. You do. There is alcohol. There is red wine there, so you can make yourself a spritzer. But that's probably it.
And I crit.
You give zero fucks about the alcoholic content of this communal wine. It's doing absolutely dick all for you.
Vaguely poisonous Ribena.
Yes, vaguely poisonous Ribena. The apple juice, it's not poisonous, so you do absolutely fine drinking the apple juice without any qualms at all.
I do hope so.
I was gonna say, if it was a 100-year-old Capri Sun, it might be the most alcoholic thing in this bar.
No, it's made from genuine apples.
Aww.
It's
Just got an image of a 100-year-old Capri Sun, like, trying to poke the straw in.
A 1-year-old Capri Sun's pretty grim.
The 1-year-old Capri Sun, which has been in the back of my car in the extreme heats and colds of that vehicle. Yeah, that's just pretty poisonous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try it. You should try it. You should try it.
I double dare you, Terracon.
Bring it in when I'm next round.
Alright. In that case, you two have to drink it. You two are up for this. Good to know. Alright. Yeah, you guys managed to imbibe your drink without too much of a qualm. You see a couple of people turn up, look like they're walking halfway across the bar, kind of look up at Helen, who now has this kind of black beanie hat on, and kind of abruptly just turn around and walk back out again. You notice a lot of them are the younger folk, the younger generation. There's a couple of older ones. John, you recognise some of them who are much like you, in and out. But yeah, that's kind of the extent of what you see for quite a while. What do you guys want to do? I mean, nothing seems to be massively happening. Michael hasn't returned. Helen is still happily serving, and it's probably pretty late at this point. You're probably looking like the other side of midnight. The younger ones that seem to be umming and ahhing earlier have kind of stopped shooting glances your way and have gotten up and wandered off to about their own business. A couple of the guys with the yellow stripes are still getting their drink on, but things seem to have wound down a bit.
Is there somewhere we can get rest?
Yeah, there's a couple of these kind of like little shacks, little buildings all over the place, and there's plenty of floor rooms, so to speak. I'm gonna let it be up to John if he has a place here or not. Whether he would be staying in the dwelling or whether he would be staying in the cave system. I mean, you are entitled to your own room in the dwelling because you came from here. There is a space set aside for you.
Yeah, I think that John have his own place that he started with, like one of the first standardization of rooms sort of deal. We are gonna do like 20 of these rooms, and they just did it. So very simplified.
So you consider like your little place to be in this cave system and not inside the dwelling itself, then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. You have a little place. Use like a little doodle on here and just mark out where you think it would be. And we'll say that's where you can pitch up. It's not a particularly big room. I mean, you for sure could lay down in there. You have a few little belongings that you may have here if you want them. It's kept clear for you. So
if I make a circle here, they are trespassing. Is that what's happening?
You can check out Brass, Eowyn's, Arts, Reth, and Leon if you want. I mean, that's an option. But yeah, let's say that's too big.
Yeah, is it more like a entrance somewhere?
Yeah, just essentially like a little circle. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a door.
Yeah. So yeah, like, feck it, it's not how I intended to thought about it, but let's fucking do it. Yeah, there's like in the side of these caves, you guys can see there are kind of little entrances to little rooms that have been dug out. It took a lot of time, a lot of effort. Probably destabilized the cave just a little bit, but who's worried? Yeah, for sure, you have your little place there. I'm gonna let it be up to you whether it's large enough for you alone or whether it's large enough for like one other, but it would be no bigger than that.
Yeah, I would probably see it so that if he removed it and refurnished or just throw out a couple of whatever, they could probably make a rest there. But it would probably not be bigger than John and Pip, and that's about it. So he probably needs to just chug out some makeshift drawer or something.
Yeah, like to get you and the glorious Pip into this tiny ass little room. Yeah, you'd probably have to drag out all the furniture, like drag everything out so that you could both lay down in this little kind of like hole in the wall, so to speak. But yeah, it's definitely possible. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So John kind of mentioned it that there is a place needs a little bit of undo decorating, but it's possible.
Okay. I'm going to wander up to the bar.
Okay.
And have a little word with Helen. Helen, we're going to head off in a minute. But would you be a darling and just pass me my antler?
Oh yes, of course, yeah, sure. She reaches over again, just taking it by the smallest amount that she possibly can, picks it up and kind of like gifts it back to you. And she kind of looks you up and down, and she's, "Are you in need of some sort of medical help? I can't help but notice you and John are kind of not looking great.
Yes, I suppose we could probably do with a bit of a, tidy up and, a bit of fuss and nonsense, really. But a few stitches wouldn't do any harm.
Well, I can see what I can do. But if either of you have more serious wounds, you're probably going to want to go talk to the cave medic.
I don't suppose you could be a star and point me in the right direction, could you?
Oh yes, of course. You should be able to see her fairly easily. She's got dark hair. She loves wearing bright purple. Probably the cleanest person in here.
So I'm going to look over at John. Should we get some stitches? How do we feel about stitches?
Yeah. Is it so that you're standing in the bar and I'm still at the table?
It's across the bar.
So John is looking over at the other two. See what I have to do. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds thumbs up.
So I'm going to whack my antler over my shoulder and come back over to the table.
Okay.
Don't forget, John. We've actually got a medical people inside the dwelling that you're still allowed into.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Pip obviously wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
They might have better medical actual training than people that are in the cave.
Yeah, I'll probably go there. So he will slowly make his way over to the other place. He's not so in love with the idea of doctors or pokers or those with needles or sharp objects.
That is the worst. Is he the kind of guy that would rather stitch himself up than have anyone else stitch him up?
Yeah. He's one of those kind of old school. If I have a cut in my hand, I'll just use duct tape. That'll be just dandy.
My kind of guy.
So he's like, yeah, this is probably a good idea, and yeah, whatever. And he probably know someone with an Laura or something that he's been eyeing out, but it never really went there. And each time she's talking, he's like, oh no.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna because the idea is just kind of funny to me. I'm gonna say that in the drawers that you're gonna have to pull out, I'm gonna say you have a med kit in there that you could you stitch yourself back up with should you want. So yeah, I mean the option is there. Okay.
Yeah, but I will take Pip to the real doctor in quotation and be like, they will take care of you. I'll be right out here.
You're gonna try and take it into the dwelling?
Yeah. Straight through.
Okay. All right. You take the Lady Pip to the kind of antechamber, the entrance chamber, which would put you to roughly there. And there's again a little barricade there. There are two guards. One of them is clearly in the attire of security, grey with red stripes. The other one is kind of wearing more of their kind of street clothes. They've got proper kind of armor looking on them. It's spiky. It's clearly made of something skin, some sort of hide. And they're both holding rifles. They're not anyway as good as yours, John. I mean, let's be honest. Your gun is a gun and a half. But they look clean.
It's a full gun.
It's a real gun. These guns are clean. They do have a shine to them, and they look like they know what they're doing. The woman kind of has a couple of piercings in her face and kind of short, spiky hair. The guy looks a little bit more like he should probably run a bit more than he does. But yeah, it always goes so far as to call call a guy fat, but yeah, he could do with a bit more of a run. But he does at least look like he knows what he's doing. He's a fair bit older. And as you guys approach, they give you a bit of a nod, John. But as soon as Lady Pip goes to make a pass, the man kind of like steps in front of her. Doesn't seem to be cowed by your taller height. Seems to be fairly used to dealing with your kind. He kind of looks up. He's like, "Where do you think you're going?"
And John is kind of walking past and kind of sinks in a little bit. Turns around and walks back.
You can't come in here.
Well, why not? But medics over there?
You're not from here.
Well,
John, you know
clearly
the
not.
rules.
Yeah, the rules are now changed. I will just be in and out. That's it.
Yeah,
So
you can go in and out, but your bigger female friend can't. You know the rules.
yeah, the rules are changed now.
No, they're not.
So we will be in and out. That's it.
You will be in and out. The rules not changed.
The rules are changed.
Take a... You can either attempt to intimidate him into this, or you're going to need to manipulate him into this. I need to know which you want to try.
I do want to intimidate, and I will use the extra legendary point and scald him off, and not in the nice way. And I don't want to be rude on stream about weight and stuff and people's demeanor.
No, go for it. Do it. No, go for it, man. I mean, it's all in game. You wanna berate his weight? You go for it, man.
No, I mean it will be something that John can stand for. So he'll probably start out with, listen here, Lord face. Will kind of go from there and kind of go down. So it's a long-winded, berating, intimidating, and he's kind of doing the classic, pointing the finger into the chest a little bit too sharp. And being very abrasive. And he's kind of doing the, poking in the chest and poking him back.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be an intimidate intelligence, and if you're rolling it with your legendary, you have a +2. So yeah, go for it, roll it. It's just, this can only end well, right?
Well, with that,
He looks too happy. He's probably already got a 12 and just doesn't want to tell me.
no, but I got a 10, which is fairly good anyway. So it's a 14.
Oh man, a 14.
Mm-hmm. I have 2 there and a +2, and 10 14.
Right.
I can math, basic.
I can do math. Yo. I was just actually surprised it was so low. So I thought your intimidate would be higher. You like poking him in the chest and calling him Lord face. So good. Lady Pip, you hear this tirade against this kind of bit more of a rotund guy. And as you go to poke him in the chest one more time as like a final hurrah, he grabs your wrist and he goes to punch you square in the face. Unfortunately, he did really rather well not being intimidated by you. He goes to swipe you in the face and he does clock you a good one. He does have hold of your other arm. And he hits you in the face for 4 damage. Less whatever your endurance is.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually hurts.
Lady Pip, I heard some sort of commotion from you.
So I wasn't very happy about my friend being smacked in the face there. So, being the larger lady that I am, I'm going to pick this guy up by the scruff of his neck, and look at him very sternly and say, "Now look here, you tubby bastard. You are going to let us through, and you're going to apologise to my friend." Right, blood.
I need you to take 2 checks for me. First, I need you to make a strength check.
Okie dokie.
Can't
Oh,
you
and
just
I'm going
like
to use a... No,
shake him a little
I'll use
bit?
the
Like,
legend point later.
This is
the
how you're
legendary
using your legendary point.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, this is me using the legendary point. So that gives me 13.
Yeah, you pick him up without a problem. Yeah, John, you just feel like this, like, grabbing of your wrist and smashing in the face, and then you become aware that the hand grabbing your wrist has let go. As, like, you blink the pain away, you see this man being lifted like a child by the back of his neck by your somewhat larger friend. Okay.
and that can happen too.
I want you to make now I want you to make an intimidate roll using your strength, because you are far larger than he is. You are far stronger than he is. Oh my god.
Righty-ho.
And you called him a
I'm
tubby
gonna-
bastard. No one likes that.
I'm gonna make the check easier because you called him a tubby bastard.
And that makes it 15.
My lord. Oh my goodness grief. Alright. You become aware that the front of his trousers have become sort of damper than before as he botches. And she just seems to be leaning back against the wall, kind of like laughing and smiling a little bit. This is kind of funny for her. But the guy just kind of like stutters and rules, yeah, go for it, sure. And yeah, he seems to be acquiescing to your demand.
Okay, so I'm going to just lean over him a little bit and say, "Now you need to learn some manners, don't you? Now apologise to my friend."
Oh my god.
Do it.
Being that you basically fucked him over and he botched, he turns around and he looks at you, John, and is like, I'm sorry.
No. I think you are very sorry. So again.
I'm very sorry for not listening to your suggestion, John.
And you won't ever repeat this again.
Oh my god. Just shakes his head.
Can I ask, did I hear any of this inside the pub?
I'm gonna go with yes, because it's funnier if you do.
Okay. I'm just going to nudge Rupert and go, we better go see what the big woman's done.
So yeah, telling people that you can let him down now.
So I'm just going to put him down gently and just kind of shake him off a little bit because he's a bit damp.
Like, yeah, and then put him down. Alright, okay, yeah, sure. That's his humiliation, why don't you? Okay, yeah, you guys come out and you see that Pip is just placing this guy down and giving him a bit of a shake off. You notice this guy is definitely sweating somewhat. He's gone pale. And you notice like the front of his uniform is showing a dark stain. And you see this woman, like the one with the shorter hair covered in a few piercings, is actually just smiling and laughing a bit. She looks like, I'm not getting involved in this. And you notice that Pip and John are able to pass them freely.
And this is why we can't have nice things.
Joel, you've got a wet patch on your pants. You should really get that changed.
He just like looks down, probably the first time he's realised it, and just like begins to walk back inside the sort of following them at a distance back towards the dwelling. And yeah,
He squelches back home.
He's squelching back home, tail between his legs, and you see the woman put her fingers in her mouth and like whistle sharply, and pointing at a nearby security guard who looks over, kind of a bit like confused as why he sees a post-gen walking into the dwelling, but he notices that his superior officer is walking away in shame, so he goes to take his place.
Oh,
Alright.
Bye-bye, Roasty.
Sorry, Roasty.
That's amazing.
I just turn around to Rupert and say, "No, do you want to go into the dwelling now? Seems like you're allowed."
He's always been allowed.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. As I generally prefer to stay out here with my people.
Oh my gosh. So are you all going to traipse your way into the dwelling then?
Might as well.
Yes.
We are
So
going to the
we have
medic
to-
part.
Alright.
We have to keep an eye on the
Yep.
keep an eye on the newbie. Bloody vandals.
Look, I did maps.
It looks weird. Don't
Be
like
proud of me, I did maps. Okay, this is not a scale map by any way, shape or form. This is NTS. This is not where you come in. Wait, have I even got you on the correct one actually? I need to check that I've got you on the right one. Nope.
Oh, we saw the secrets.
Morin.
Wonder plant, explosions. Got it.
You would know the layout anyway, John. You grew up here.
Yeah, that's what I said. It is in the same place as I last.
It was where you've last saw it. You guys basically walk past a very secure looking blast door. That's initially how you get in there. It's open. Seems to have been open for a while.
Where's the front?
Hasn't moved in a while. You guys walk along a very long corridor. You guys start there. And this corridor branches left and branches right. And you guys know that it doesn't really matter which way you go. You will find yourself in one of these various places. As you can see, they're kind of color coded. They are sectioned. They are sectioned by their purpose. In front of you, it looks like there's a door. The kind of black square things. It's not. I just fucked up the map.
I was just about to say, why don't we just go straight through?
I'm still learning, okay? I was very tired when I made the map. It was an adaptation of an old one. But yeah, you guys basically can go left or go right. That's pretty much your options. You can see that there's a couple of people walking backwards and forwards, coming and going. The guy whom you... I don't want to call him Roasty because that's horrible.
Do it.
All right, the Roasty not Roasty guy walks off and he goes left. So he's going this direction.
Let's go in the opposite direction.
Where do you guys want to go?
I should probably know where to, in this maze-looking area, how to get to the hospital.
Yep, it's the one in the red, in the middle there, above physical training, just in there. It wouldn't really matter if you went through the entrance through blue or the entrance through yellow. It's not really, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so make our way there.
I drew a map. Or I
If you're
drew a
using-
thing.
You drew a streak of piss.
If he's pissing green, I
Your
need
piss
to
is
be
green.
conceded.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
That's why he's going to the hospital.
that's why he's going to the hospital.
But that's the way we could go.
Stop doing that. It's not sanitary at all, dude.
I don't know how to get rid of the mark, so
Click it, and then you can click delete.
Or you can
Can't
kind
click
of
it.
mark it.
Jeebus. There you go.
there we go.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's get rid of that as well.
Do, do, do,
Okay, yeah, you guys walk along this corridor, you turn
do, do.
right. Are you doodling more things on here? Get rid of that. Stop defacing the map! Took me ages. It didn't really, it's a shitty map. You guys walk into the corridor and you turn right away from Roasty, not Roasty. and you make your way into the first door. The door looks fairly secure. It's kind of security door of types. There's no one standing guard here because in theory the guards outside should have done their job better. They didn't because you're terrifying. And you make your way into the blue section. It's fairly late at night. There aren't a lot of people here, but you can see a couple of the guys on the inverted commas late shift. You know, they're wearing, you know, the standard dwelling attire, the kind of jumpsuits with blue flashes on them. Most of them in here, some of them are eating, some of them are just like, you know, chucking around bits and pieces and just kind of hanging out a bit such. There's nothing really special about this place, especially the part you are. You pass through there, you then pass into the red section, which is essentially the security. As good as they are. You walk through what is essentially a training room. You see lots of weights, lots of machines, lots of pretty much all different ways of working out is in here. There are a couple of guys who are built as fuck, even up to the level of almost being post-gen built, who are doing some serious weight training. And you guys push your way through two double doors into what is essentially the hospital. There are a couple of beds here. There's no one on them currently, and you can see that there is a woman who is sitting behind a desk and seems to be writing. She's wearing the standard dwelling outfit, but with, you know, flashes of red. She's wearing a little cap, tying her hair back. All of her strands sort of pushed in and under. You can only really see this kind of like dark red hat, and she seems to be just writing away.
I walk in, clap my hands, go, "What's up, Doc?"
Oh, young Master Elcom. How can I... And then her eyes fix on Pip. How can I help you, Elcom?
I'm all good, but these two are a bit fucked.
Yes, they look like you're in need of assistance. I don't mean to be indelicate, but, who are you? And she's looking at Lady Pip.
I'm going to thrust my hand out towards her. Lady Pip, wonderful to meet you. How are you?
She puts her hand out, kind of, she stands up and leans over the desk a bit, like, I'm doing fine, thank you. What are you doing here?
I'm afraid my friend and I are rather a state, and I was wondering whether you'd, you know, stitch us up a little bit.
I can stitch him up, and again, without looking, she points at John. But I can't really stitch you up. I mean, you're not supposed to be here.
Oh, no, it's fine. No, it's okay. Don't worry. We sorted it all out with the guards. And he had a little accident and you know, he scuttled off. Funny little man, really.
I think this might be above my pay grade.
Judith, it's all good.
Take
Honestly,
a manipulate check for me, dude. Using charisma. A 6.
That's the lowest I could possibly roll. I rolled a 1.
You need 4 in manipulate? No, whatever.
My charisma's 40, and I've got 1 rank in it.
Yep, and don't forget +1 because she's human.
Okay, 7.
Ew. She looks you up and down. She looks back over at John, back over at Pip, and she's I can probably get away with a few stitches, but let's not tell my boss about this, shall we? And she indicates for you guys to go sit over on the beds, and she goes and grabs some supplies. She starts up with John. She checks you over, finds that you have more than your fair share of cuts and bruises, and she kind of like touches your rib a bit, and it's like, oh, ouch, bit of a wince there. Basically says there's nothing she can do for that. And she says, have you been stitching yourself up again?
Do you want the truth, or do you want to hear something that will make you smile?
I always like to smile.
Well, I did.
Oh. She doesn't smile. You know, John, you should really take better care of yourself out there.
It's a rough world, so...
I mean, the way you are, you look a bit... Actually, she needs to make a medic check before she says you look a bit.
I'm a bit
Ugh.
all day.
Shit. You're looking somewhat worse than the last time I saw you.
Ain't you all?
No, like, really sick.
I mean, you're supposed to be a doctor, so you should be encouraging your patients and not letting them down, you know?
I'm
You
trying
should
to
be.
encourage you to stay here. I mean,
Yeah.
I might be able to treat you, but maybe your symptoms have gone too far. I don't know.
What I heard was stitch me up and we're good. That's good.
John, as she kind of puts her hand on your arm, she knows your real name. John, are you you sure we can't convince you to stay?
It's fine. I mean, you can just do some, stitch and that's good. So yeah,
I mean,
that'll be fine.
we can make you comfortable. I mean, out there you're not going to be comfortable. I mean, we can look after you, make sure everything's better than being out there for this. I mean, you should be surrounded by people who care for you.
Yeah. So he takes a couple of the pills or bottle or something and bottoms up, I guess. So she needs attention too. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. She looks uncomfortable, but she does stitch you up where she can. She gives you some generic painkillers, and you suspect some other drugs that she won't tell you what the purpose is of. You suspect you know what they're supposed to be, but it's up to you if you want to take them or not.
Yeah, he pockets them and basically says that's gonna be for a rainy day, right?
Yeah. And yeah, she leaves you to it. Roll 2d6.
Mm-hmm. 4. There we go. A 2, so 6 in total.
Yep, that's how many hit points you regain. Which should make it
Blimey,
slightly
nice.
easier for tomorrow. She then goes on after having left John. She's clearly not as happy as she was before. She's very concerned, and she goes over to Lady Pip. I assume you're sitting somewhere comfortably on a bed waiting for her to come back. Cool, good, like a good patient. She she comes over to you. She gives you a bit of a look over. She doesn't really say all that much, and she begins to stitch up your wounds. She doesn't do it gently. You get the distinct impression she wants this done quicker than you probably do. And she's constantly furtively looking over at the office and looking back out the front door, sort of thing. But she stitches you up lickety-split, and you can also roll 2d6.
It's 5 and 10. Nice.
You may recoup that much. Your stitches are definitely itchy. They're not as close together as they should have been. But yeah, that is better than nothing. Maybe. And she looks over at you both like, since you're not really hospitalized patients, I can't really let you stay here. Especially you. No offense. Lady Pip?
Yes, Pip. No offense taken. Thank you for the scars.
You're welcome. And she goes and sits down, and she pulls a file out from like the bottom of her filing cabinet and flips them over. You know, it's a rather kind of thick tome, and she starts like writing in the bottom of this. What do you guys want to do now?
I'll say that we will return and take a short rest. That sounds good. This is not a good place to be.
Dwelling's a good place to be, if you're allowed here.
It's been a bloody long day.
It is. It's getting on. You guys are slightly. Well, actually, no. I don't think any of you are even slightly inebriated. You gave zero fucks about what you just drank. So.
That's if you got given alcohol.
No, you're true,
yeah,
baby.
Had a couple of drinks around dinner time. You know. Now
With
it's
the grown-ups.
now it's quite late.
Oh, damn it.
Or is it starting to get early?
I'd say it's starting to get early. Yeah, probably about an hour before people start getting up proper.
I'm going to go off and sleep in my place in the cave.
Okay. What about the rest of y'all?
Mm-hmm.
I will go back to my room.
And I'm going to follow John.
Okay. As you guys, you would all have to make your way out through that main area. As you guys make your way out, you see that that Michael is coming out from the yellow section. He's not wearing his hat, so I used the one without a hat. For whatever reason, I have two versions of him.
You're right, Mike.
Just gives you a bit of a nod and a bit of a.
Backs away.
Yeah. Should stop by the bar.
Now, later, tomorrow.
Tomorrow might be too late.
Okay.
Oh.
Look, Mikey boy, it's been a bloody long day. I just want to go to sleep. You leave your shenanigans off to the morning, eh?
Fine. And he stalks off. He just storms off like there's no tomorrow. He's just fucking gone. Did not look the happiest bunny.
Who does after that?
Yeah.
You guys all make your way back to your various abodes. Some of you back into the cave system, some of you within your own rooms. The cave system guys, you go to your rooms. Your room? Yeah, your rooms, there's two. You spend some time dragging out the chest of drawers so that Lady Pip can lay down in some sort of comfort with John next to her nearby. The brother, you have your own little place, your own little hovel, so to speak. You do have a room within the dwelling should you wish, but I assume you wish to be with your flock. And Cameron, you go back to your bed. Let's see if I can find. No, actually, I don't need to. We can do this phone without. Cameron, you go back to your rooms. You're kind of in that family room. The overseer has a certain amount of stuff, certain amount of rooms to himself and his family, of which you clearly are. You are an only child. It's just you and your father. Your mother died some years previous. Never had another child. No brothers or sisters. No aunts and uncles. And your father is working busily over a terminal, frowning, looking kind of annoyed. Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
Why are you frowning so much? You're gonna get more wrinkles.
More. Ugh. He's an older guy. He's greying hair, greying beard, very shortly cut. He scratches it fairly often across a scar he has on his chin, and he's quite a thin guy. He kind of looks over at you. It's like everything's falling apart. I don't know what to do.
What, in the dwelling? I
Yeah.
don't know, everything's falling apart. Most people do.
Well, I'm hoping the populace didn't know, but sure.
We need more people in here.
It's true. I mean, it was built for 1,000. We've only really had 300-400 in here at a time. Not a whole lot of us left.
Open the doors.
He looks over at you sternly. He's like, we've had this conversation before.
Multiple times.
Yeah. I'm not just opening the doors, son. You never know what we could let inside.
It's either open the doors or the whole thing crumbles.
I think we just need people in. I think we just need to get back our losses. The trouble is, it was designed for a certain amount of people, and we don't have that certain amount. As soon as we get them back, we should be fine.
And how do we get them back?
He looks over at you. I have an idea, but it's not going to be popular.
And what is this idea?
I'll tell you what, I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. I think I'm going to go to bed. And he gets up, he grabs a glass of whatever he was drinking, and then just wanders back to his room. Take a perception check for me.
Just a normal perception, yeah?
Straight perception, yeah.
10.
A 10. You can see that he's been working on a series of numbers relating to food, to water, to current usage, to kind of overflow limits, that sort of thing. Working out, you have an idea on working out how many extra people they can facilitate here. You can't really make too much head or tails of the number itself. No straight perception, I'm afraid. And he's also locked his computer down. Yeah.
Well, when he's completely, or I know roughly he's actually asleep, I'm going to actually try and unlock the terminal.
Okay, I need you to make a tech use for me. This is going to be fairly difficult.
Okay. That's why I'm going to use a legendary point.
Ooh.
That is a 12.
You are unable to hack your way past this password. But you have at least managed to avoid tripping the alarm system. Alright. I assume yes, you done?
Yeah, that's me done.
Alright.
I go to bed.
Morning dawns. It's up to you guys whether you want to take an extended sleep or whatever. Those of you who are injured can roll a d6 and add your endurance modifier. And that'd be how many more hit points you regain. I don't know if it gets you back to full. If it does, huzzah! If it doesn't, sucks to be you.
No, already at full.
Perfect.
Hey, sleep in my shitty hovel.
You sleep in your shitty hovel. Your hovel's probably pretty nice. You've been here for like 40 or 50 years. If you still live in a shitty hovel, you have a problem.
Oh no, that's the thing though. Rupert's a nice guy. When his hovel gets nice and new people come in, he gives shit away.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
People are like, "We're so thankful," and they give him stuff back, and new people come in, and he gives it away.
Okay. I'm going to kind of like unroll myself from John's sleeping area, and just like roll my legs out and like flop out the door.
Okay.
Because it's clearly not big enough for both of us.
It's definitely not big enough for both of you.
And I'm just going to kind of push some of his stuff back in, just to tidy up.
Yeah, it's not very subtle. It's not very quiet, John. You are definitely awoken by the sound, like as this kind of like drawers are being pushed back inside your unit.
Yeah, probably just is it in the morning? Have we slept at all, or
Oh
is
yeah,
it?
yeah. You've definitely slept. Yeah, so you've had enough to wake up and feel rested. Probably not felt this rested for a while. You were chased by that red doe for quite a while.
And he kind of nods to himself and gets up and put the sling to the rifle on and cover it up with the coat and looks at the half-assed attempt to make a drawer with like zero knowledge on technical, so just putting two pieces of boards together and like, yep, that's it, a drawer. So
Nice.
he kind of looks at it and yeah, seems to be exactly how I left it. I guess that we will head off. There isn't so much more we can do here.
As you as you kind of like you get up, you begin to have a look around. Actually, I need to delete him because he is technically here, but there's another version of him on the map I'm going to use. Double check there are no other versions of him on the web. Yep. Hatless Michael is he's where the hell is Thirsty? Oh, you're over there. Okay.
Yeah, he's in his own hovel.
Draw a little hovel on the map, dude. It's easier for me to see.
A pile of dirt.
Do you want to live in a pile of dirt? It's up to you. Okay, I really hope people can see that on the map, but that's amazing. Okay, it's so good. Okay,
That's definitely a hovel.
it's definitely a hovel. So good. Alright, as you guys, Cameron, where are you right now?
I'm just in my bed, obviously.
You're
Still, I
gonna
don't know.
stay in your bed. Okay.
Yeah, wake
alright.
up in the morning, have food, go back down to probably speak to my dad first.
Okay, alright. I'll deal with you in a minute. Actually, no, as you go down to speak to your father, he's not there.
He's not there.
No.
I check his room.
He's not there. His bed is neatly made. You see that he's finished the bottle of whiskey you knew was only half full last night.
I try and find another bottle of whiskey.
You look around this room. There's nothing else here. There's no other empty bottles, there's no other full bottles, nothing.
I go down to have food.
Okay. Yeah, you can have food, that's fine. That's where you are when this shit goes down. Okay. Yeah, because I actually need that extra amount of time. As the two of you wake up and you come out and begin to sort of like figure out what the hell it is you're gonna do, Michael sees you guys and he walks over to you. Again, he has that kind of like grumpy expression on his face. Oh my god, Skag.
Huh? No, I was just meaning if we made a small little kind of, part like this, it looks like he's selling crosses or lemonade.
Yeah.
Hear ye, the sacred lemonade is here.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Communion
open for
wine,
business.
roll up,
Oh.
communion wine for sale.
Oh
Fake
my
crosses, I mean real crosses. I made them myself.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that that notwithstanding. Where the fuck was I? Right, yes. Michael is making his way across to you. He seems to have been just kind of leaning against one wall, just like, checking out the shotgun, occasionally giving it a clean and realizing that you two are beginning to stir. He's sling it back on his shoulders and just, he's a very kind of like grumpy, like frown on his face.
And this is with Pip and John, or?
He's looking over at you guys, and you guys actually begin to actually get out. He begins to like stalk his way over.
Yeah. So John sees that there is maybe like a stool he made, like a 2 grader would do much better, but he keeps it just for like something of a memory of what he is not supposed to do.
Okay.
So he just take that and chugs it in and just closes the door.
Like in it goes. Woo.
Yeah. I'm not opening that door anytime soon.
You guys hear like a kind of like a rattle and a bit of a crash as you just like throw it in underhanded, not really giving a fuck. Okay. Yeah, he's making his way over to you with a grump on his stare, and he looks over at you both as he gets to you, and he addresses his comments to John. So, are you staying to help?
It's one person, right?
Do you remember back in the day, it wasn't just one person we had to deal with?
What would happen if the half-wit son actually makes a good whatever he's trying to do, and his father is off?
I don't really know the kid very well, but Helen reckons he's alright. Might do a better job than him. Hopefully he should. Well, opening the doors would be a good bloody start. Kid does that, probably better off than we are now. I mean, people like you, and he gestures over to Pip. Looks up at you. Like, I think you're probably half all that bad, so could use everyone's help.
Do you think he's old enough to do this? Do you think perhaps he needs to be, somebody to take him under their wing a little bit, guide him in the right direction, maybe?
Maybe a tall, dashing Pip.
Dashing?
Well,
Didn't you hear the rest of the words as well?
I know. That sort of maternal thing that maybe he needs someone to kind of look after him, the sort of...
you got a mum fetish?
No, I'm just saying, he's might need a bit of a hug occasionally, a hug.
Yeah, that sounds actually like a really good idea. So he leans in, like almost whisper to Michael, as long as I am out of the ideal of this, I'll be fine. I had my share of hugs already. So I think giving him at least the morning, and maybe he'll actually do a good job of whatever he's trying to do.
Well, we're planning on making our move later this evening. Think you can hang around for that?
Yeah, I'll see what happens. At least the young one is probably better off than staying.
I don't think we've got anything else on, have we?
Well, we don't really want to be here, so.
If you can give us the day. We've got plans. I mean, I think we've got enough to do what we need to do. But, Yeah, we've got enough to do what we want to do. Just got to make sure we move before they do. There's rumours about what he might be up to.
Yeah, well, say that a day is at the very most.
When counting both of you, could get bloody.
Excellent. Do love a little bit of blood.
I'll guess that answer it.
Good. Good to have you back, John. And then just frowns a bit more. You didn't think he could scowl any harder, but he does. And then he walks off, walks back towards his bar. Father, what are you up to? Brother, shit. Brother, what are you up to?
Well, from the looks of this map, I'm apparently living in my lemonade stand.
Fuck mine.
Repurpose lemonade stand.
Okay, let's establish this in canon. Are you living in a lemonade stand?
No, I'm living in a small lean-to that possibly has a God's R Us sign.
Alright, I'll take it. Okay. So what are you up to this morning?
Well, after after rising and giving the morning benediction, and basically just inspiring goodly zeal in those going about their morning tasks. Basically, God will judge you. Work harder. All that sort of thing. He's probably going to nip to the pub for a spot of breakfast.
Okay. Pop to the pub for a spot of breakfast.
Yes.
I really like that idea.
When you're alive for 130 odd years, you learn to take care of the little practicalities, like not starving to death.
Okay.
Everyone work. You too. Oh shit! It's time for breakfast. Okay, done. I'm done.
Yeah, oh fuck! It's 11's. Off we go.
All right. I want the three of you to make perception checks for me, please.
Nope.
What does that nope mean?
It's a 4. He's going to the pub.
13.
14.
13 and a 14 and a 4.
Yep. I'm sure there's something terribly important going on, but I need to go to the pub.
A 13, a 14 and a 4. The 4 you notice absolutely dick all as you go to breakfast, other than that Michael has regained his hat. 'Cause fuck that.
No. It's terribly uncouth to wear a hat indoors.
It's cold. It's kind of the only response you get. It's only ever the response you get on that too. Okay. That's cool. For you two who got above a 4, you notice that there seem to be a lot of guards on today. Now, definitely the older ones. You don't see anyone. You say maybe 1 or 2 below the age of 30, but they're few and far between. Everyone else has a couple of grey streaks, if not white streaks, in their hair. There seems to be a lot more with larger rifles than normal. And they seem to be like walking around and chivying people here and there. There's no overt anger in their voice, there's no commands, but they just... You kind of notice that there's pretty heavily armoured today. And you notice that on the... at the 2 guard posts, that they are both proper security. They are... Oh crap, I forgot I can copy and paste these guys. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, I don't have to minimise how many I have now. Hell yeah. You notice that there are definitely security on both the entrances in and out of this cave system, and they have definitely better weapons than normal. What do you two want to do? Where are you currently? Do you think we need to spot this? It's probably about halfway through the day.
Yeah, I think both me and Pip realizes the guards and the weapons fairly at the same time. And so it'll probably be a very bloody scene. As they are probably as well, knowing that something is up or they have something they want to do themselves.
Okay. Are you worried?
No, I'm saying that to Pip.
Okay.
So, this one chap that they want us to bump off, has that just turned into 30? Are we up to our eyeballs in it?
As I see it, this place is nice to take a sleep, but maybe not anymore. But that's about it. I think that the outside is better. So after this, nothing will probably be the same.
I think you might be right there. Are we going to scarp? Are we going to run away? Do we need to take people with us? Those two seemed all right. Maybe we could, look after them a bit. Especially the little one. He's very pretty.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So the idea is good. It's always better to be more than just one or two. 4 is a good one.
Even numbers.
Yeah. It's more if you can handle a rowdy priest and a gullible young one.
Well, the young one's quite malleable. Not sure about the skinny thing, but he seems all right. He's quite good in the pub. I'm sure he'll rally the troops if things get a bit hairy.
Yeah, in the worst case scenario, you can pick one up and throw them at the threat that may arise. So.
Exactly, he'll do as a meat shield.
Sorry.
Well, should we see if they want to jolly along with us and can...
Yeah, let's see if we will have them jollying with us.
I'm not sure I quite fancy them being squashed here, and these guys with guns, they're just looking a bit menacing now, and I've only got the antler now.
You got that back, right?
Yes, but it's coming with us. It's quite useful. I could give you a sort of back scratch, and I'm just going to kind of poke you in the head with it.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's.
I'm going to say
nice.
You can reflex out of the way. You don't need to roll.
No, it's even funnier if he just stands there, kind of crossing his eyes a little bit, like, no.
No, it's going to be okay. No, yeah.
Well, at least we could give them a alternative, a question if they would do so want to see the outside a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe what we could do is if you talk to the thing with the hand. It's the hand. Talk to that one because I'm sure he'll respond to you. And then I'll go and talk to the pretty one.
You just want to talk to the pretty one, right? Yeah, sure.
All right.
So, well, I guess I'll go and look at his stand or whatever it is over there.
The stand is empty. But,
Shoot, then he is at the bar. There's just two places, either preaching for deaf ears or drinking sorrows away.
What you know, I'm sure there's a lot of God botherers in there, you know.
well, you find him in the bar, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Alright, so Cameron, where are you? It's probably mid-morning.
Once I finished eating, I'd probably go and try and find my dad.
Alright.
I'd be asking around, poking around.
If you kind of ask around and like make demands of a few of the guards, a few of the the higher ups, some of the section chiefs you notice, they report that your father is currently in session. He's having a conversation with the heads of departments.
And I would know where that is, yeah?
Yeah, it's a multidisciplinary room. I can move you guys' cam over there so you can see it. It's this one. Yep, the multi-disc room. You know that those are kind of where the different section heads would meet with your father at least once a day. But this meeting has gone on far longer than you expect a normal meeting to run.
I would knock on the door.
There's no response.
I will open the door.
You... Sure. In front of you there is sitting a slightly older woman. There is a younger man who's probably slightly younger than you. There is a kind of middle-aged guy and your father. And your father looks up and he says, What are you doing here, Cam?
You were going to talk to me this morning. Where were you?
Cam, I'm in the middle of a meeting.
I can see that.
So we need to go. This is official business.
Been in here a long time. What's up?
Trouble that I will talk to you about later.
Are you doing something drastic?
Cam, leave.
I shut the door and leave.
Where are you going?
Out to the cave.
You're gonna go to the cave?
Yeah.
Alright,
Just had an argument with your dad. Go to the pub.
Exactly!
As you head out towards the cave system, you meet Pip on the way through.
You right?
Hello! Now, I have a proposition for you.
No.
No! Now, I have two very good reasons for you to come with me.
Oh, come with you? Okay, maybe.
Absolutely. No, we were thinking now, have a look over there. And I'm going to do this in like a proper stage whisper. Look over there. There are lots of people with guns. And we don't really want you to get shot because you're very pretty. So we thought what you might want to do is to come with us. Because we're going to Scarpa.
So you're going to leave and just screw everyone else here?
No. If we leave, we won't get shot, you see. And then if you leave with us, then when you come back, and all the blood is everywhere and that nastiness, then clearly then you're in charge and you can do your lovely plan with the doors and the windows and things.
Doors and windows. Sorry.
I don't know where windows come into that, but okay.
Well, Look, we just want you to be safe, lovely. Come with us.
As you're having this discussion, a couple of guards walking from the dwelling towards the cave system, they're approaching you and they're definitely giving Pip a frown. And they're two older gentlemen. They look like they know what they're doing. They look pretty much on the level. And they look at you. Sorry, I just read the chat. Thanks, Gag. They look at you. They say, "Your father thinks that you should be headed back inside, Cam. He's about to go out and talk to some of the cave ones."
I'd want to hear this as well. No.
He was kind of insistent you stay inside. But if you're outside, I'm not gonna tell him.
Okay.
Go on, move along. Come on, move along. Get on with it, you two. Get out. Go on. And the pair of them start to shoo you guys out into the cave system.
Okay.
As you do that, though, the gentleman that spoke to you before does put his hand on your shoulder for a minute. Cam, so you sure you want to be out here for this?
Are we really going to do this?
There's a chance of it, yeah.
Why?
Everything for ESC, right?
To what end?
Just keep walking. You know, right, kid.
I'm going to go in.
Gonna go into the dwelling.
The dwelling.
Gonna go back into the dwelling. All right, you will not be here for this then.
Yep.
You walk back. Where are you heading inside? It doesn't really matter. I just need to know whether you're past your father or not.
I would go straight to my father.
Okay. Your father walks down the corridor as Lady Pip is pushed back into the cave system. I'll get back to you in a minute. Your father walks forward. Yeah, the three section heads are with him, and he gives you a nod and keeps walking.
I pull out my pistol and shoot him in the head.
Take an attack roll.
$17.
17. Roll some damage.
That is 11.
Okay. I need you to explain to me right now your motivations for shooting your father in the head.
I know he's going to go into that cave and say, you all have to leave. And if they don't leave, they're going to be shot and killed. It doesn't make sense in my mind.
Okay. As the bullet flies into your father's head, you see his brains explode across the wall. The three section heads are gonna dive on top of you. They will pin you down. Pip, you hear the shot being fired. In fact, I'm gonna say, if you're in near the entrance to this kind of pub area, you can probably also hear a faint echo of a shot going off from inside. Cam, you are pinned down by three section heads, and the guy who put his hand on your shoulder kind of looks down at you sadly, shakes his head, and then you become blissfully unaware of everything as you are knocked unconscious. That's where we're going to leave this evening. Good to know. You're going to feel like such an asshole.
That's probably.
Good job. Alright, okay, on that horrific note of patricide, which is a great, dirty, horrible move, let's go round and say goodbye to everyone fairly quick, because I've got to get ready for the next game! Alright, so we'll start directly below John, inverted commas, Skag.
Yeah.
How's that for you? Where do we see you next?
I'm in the said game. So, there. Come and watch it over at the Skagith Twitcheroo. I had a really good time. And hopefully we will do a... not rescue. We don't do rescues here. We'll take care of the kind of damaged good. So we'll take that off their shoulders and kind of get it on. So yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, sure. So I know what'll happen next time. I called it a headshot, so I know. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. The Lady Pip Spanners.
Yeah, that was awesome. You can find me on Twitter at I_am_spanners. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing something with my antler. I don't know what, but it's going to use a legendary point.
So good. Ripping that antler was just a mark of genius.
And I didn't call it
Oh,
that. Yeah, shot your dad.
good to know.
Needs must.
Needs must. His plans
My
will
eyes
be
anyway.
his plans will be revealed later, I guess. You never get to hear him say he's proud of you or anything. I mean, it's too late now. Moving on.
I knew he wasn't proud of me anyway.
You don't know that anymore, man. You don't know that. We can't find you online, really, can we?
Well, I haven't streamed in months, so no.
Excellent.
I'm
With the
invisible.
only home of Terracon is here. All right. Let's jump across to Thirsty.
Hey! You can find me on Twitter at thirsty_BTP. You can find me on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk. You can find me here. And you can find me on Friday Night Spiced. And you can find me on Baylor's Blades every so often. And I thought this was great because I got to be shouty. I got to call everyone boy. Apart
was
from
pretty
Michael, who hated being called anything but Michael, and I called him Mikey. I got to live in a hovel with God or Us written on it. So, yeah, I thought that was great.
Cool. Wicked.
And I got to sound like the Sheriff of Nottingham from Prince of Thieves, which was just great.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool.
At some point, I have to tell someone to cut someone's heart out with a spoon.
I had fun. It didn't go anywhere near the way I thought it would. I'm gonna be honest, I had a few ideas. Some of the stuff you've managed to bypass, some of the stuff is still incoming. I suspected that my guy may not live to the end. I had great fun playing Michael. That was hilarious. My face kind of hurts with so much scowling though. It just hurts. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter at blood_BTP, where it's probably the easiest way to find out what the fuck I'm doing next, and obviously the website bloodthirsty_puppets.co.uk, where some information about our system is, and eventually there will be a system for people to have a look at, one way or another. You can find me in about half an hour over on Skag's channel, so if you're here hanging out, go check that out. We're going to be playing an Indiana Jones style game. I don't know how it's going to go.
Like old matinee.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, other than that, I think it's just need to thank Kevin MacLeod for all the free ass music because it's free and cool and it's incompetech.com, and to thank Corone for the intro and outro credits, which you're about to see shortly. I do need to shout out to Rethix because yeah, that is your puppet, dude. Sorry, it is your puppet. Alright, other than that, I'll catch you guys half an hour, anyone who's going across the Skag's channel. So, see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Daddy issue solved.
Yeah, everyone has daddy issues.
Patch that, motherfucker! Hey, that's kind of poignant.
Here, Dad, catch.
For a grenade. Get all
Bite
of them.
down.
Bite this, Pops, bite this.
Bite down on this, Dad.
Oh, this is terrible and awful. Latest, folks.